you?
Hello, sir. I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I am also fine, Nishant. Hello, guys. I am Akshay and he is Nishant. So, Nishant has recently cleared his Anglo return, and today Nishant is here to take the mock interview for Anglo. So, Nishant, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, Nishant, can you introduce me yourself?
Sure, sir. So my name is Nishant from Kangra district of Himachal Pradesh, and currently I'm working at ZS Associates since the last 1 year as an associate. And regarding my graduation, I've completed my graduation from Army Institute of Technology, Pune, and have secured a CGPA of 8.68. I've completed my 12th standard from Army Public School, GRC, Jabalpur, and have secured a percentage of 87.2%. And I have completed my class 10th from Army Public School, Golconda, Hyderabad, and have secured a CGPA of 10 CGPA. Sir, apart from all this, I love to engage in sports. I love to play volleyball and martial arts. I have won a national gold medal and a silver medal in karate championship, and I was in my college's volleyball team. And I also love to do bhangra and acting.
Okay. Nishant, you said that you have a gold and silver medal in national level karate championship, right?
Yes, sir.
You had a gold medal and silver medal in kumite or kata.
So I had in Kumite.
Okay. What belt have you achieved in karate?
I'm a black belt Don one.
Okay. Yeah. Great. That's great to listen. So, apart from the national level karate championship, have you participated in any other competitions?
Sir, I have participated in volleyball, in ad making competitions, and dancing competitions. That is Bhangra.
Okay. Yeah. What style of karate did you have?
What?
What style of karate did you have?
Sir,
Shotokan, Gojuri.
so it was Shotokan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with Japan Karate Association of India,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
JKAI. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me the full form of WSKO?
W?
WSKO. Can you tell me the full form?
No, no, sir.
Yeah. It's a World Shotokan Karate Organization.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Nishant. So, can you tell me what's your father and about your family background?
Yes, sir. So my family consists of 4 members, including me, and I've introduced myself earlier. Regarding my father, he's a retired army personnel, and my mother is a housewife, and my father and my I have a younger brother who is currently studying in 12th standard.
Okay. So, your father is in the army, right?
He was in the army. He's currently retired from the army.
Okay. So, in what post did your father serve?
He retired from the post of Havaldar.
Okay. So, what was his last posting, Nishant?
So he was at Ahmedabad in the signals.
Okay, okay. Nishant, being son of an army person who is retired now, so don't you feel like, to join the army, navy, air force, or any other defense forces? Why do you want to join merchant navy?
Yes, sir. I wanted to join the forces. I even appeared for the SSBs, and I appeared for the SSBs 4 times, and I got unfortunately I got conferenced out 4 times, and I made up my mind that I think I'm not made for the armed forces, because they say that if you are attempting again and again, and if you are not getting through, then this means that you are not made for the army. So I
Okay,
have convinced myself that I think I'm not someone who is made for the army. So I'm now trying my second best option, that is for the merchant navy.
okay, yeah. Uh, Nishant, how did you get to know about merchant navy?
So I got to know about merchant navy. Firstly, I had a relative of mine that I knew. I always saw him. He always told me about his profession. Then I was influenced by his lifestyle, his way of talking, his personality. And then I saw various YouTube videos of various sailors that are sailing in the merchant navy. And I got really influenced by the work nature of the job, and I'm really influenced by it, and I'm drawn towards the profession of merchant navy.
Okay. Uh, Nishant, do you know what are the pros and cons of merchant navy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me what
So,
are the cons of merchant navy?
so the cons of merchant navy can be that firstly you are not on land, so actually you may get dizziness or vomiting, and that is because for whenever I think whenever you leave the land and go on ship on board, then you may get sick. Then you may also get homesick because it involves staying away from the family for 6 to 7 months. Also, I've heard that internet connectivity is not that much prevalent in the merchant navy, so you get cut off from the world. And also the salary that you get is only for the contract time being. So for instance, if you have a contract of 3 months, 3 of 6 months, then you will be paid for the 6 months, and you will not be paid for the 6 months, for the rest of the 6 months. These are some of the cons that I can think of.
Yeah, Nishant, you mentioned that there is a con of salary. You get 6 months salary and you don't get salary when you are like when you are at the home, right?
Yes, sir.
Nishant, actually, there are two kinds of salaries. As you mentioned, the contract-based salary, that is the first type of salary. So, second type
Okay.
of salary is also there, the around the year salary.
Okay. Okay.
So you can choose that also. There are few companies which provide round the year salary. There are some kind of criteria which you need to meet. So you will get the round the year salary also. So
Okay.
look at that also. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know about that, sir. I'll
Yeah.
definitely search about upon
Yeah.
it.
There are few companies. Not all the companies allow this, but there are few companies which allow round the year salary. But there is some condition for that.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah. So be aware of that and know that after this interview.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Nishant, can we move towards the technical part now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nishant, tell me the components of VCRS.
Sure, sir. So VCRS stands for Vapor Compression Refrigeration System. It is a cycle in which refrigeration process takes place. In VCRS, sir, heat is rejected and low temperature is maintained. In VCRS, the refrigerant serves as a working fluid which undergoes various transitions and heat exchanges to produce cooling effect. So the VCRS cycle basically consists of four stages using four major components. Firstly, it is isentropic compression using compressor, then isobaric heat rejection using condenser, then isenthalipic expansion using thermostatic expansion valve, and finally isobaric heat absorption using evaporator. So the cycle begins with low pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant coming out from the evaporator, which enters into the compressor where it gets highly compressed, and the refrigerant gets converted into high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor refrigerant, which then enters into the condenser, where the phase change happens because the refrigerant releases its latent heat of vaporization to the surroundings, and its phase changes, and the refrigerant gets converted into high pressure, uh, high temperature saturate high pressure, high temperature saturated liquid refrigerant. And now this refrigerant enters into the dryer. So the dryer basically consists of silica gel, which acts as an absorbent to remove the moisture from the refrigerant. Then it enters into the thermostatic expansion valve. So the thermostatic expansion valve is basically a throttling device that regulates the flow of refrigerant into the evaporator with the help of a sensing bulb, which is situated at the end of evaporator and connected to the thermostatic expansion valve via a capillary tube. Sir, thermostatic expansion valve basically consists of an orifice where sudden drop in pressure takes place, and due to this sudden drop in pressure, the temperature also decreases drastically, and the refrigerant gets cooled down and gets converted into low pressure, low temperature, a mixture of vapor and liquid refrigerant, which then finally enters into the evaporator. So the evaporator is an heat exchanger where the evaporator coil absorbs heat from the surroundings, and and the phase of the refrigerant changes, and the refrigerant gets converted into low pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant. And evaporator is the place where the cooling effect or the refrigeration takes place. So this is the VCRS cycle.
Okay. Nishant, you mentioned about latent heat. What do you mean by latent heat?
So latent heat of vaporization is the amount of heat required to convert a given amount of liquid into steam.
Okay. Uh, Nishant, the answer was very beautiful and in a standard manner. But make sure I had asked you what are the components of VCRS. So you explained me
Yes,
whole
sir.
cycle of VCRS. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
interviewer might disturb you or upset you with multiple questions if you are answering too lengthy. Okay.
Yes,
Your
sir.
answer was
Yes, sir.
absolutely good. There was nothing wrong in your answer, but I had asked you just the components of VCRS. Starting, you mentioned what do you mean by VCRS, how does the VCRS cycle works, and the stages of
Yes, sir.
VCRS. You mentioned that was good, and after that, you
Yes, sir.
mentioned the components with. You mentioned that isenthalpic compression takes place in compressor and in condenser, and in isobaric heat rejection takes place in so and so. You mentioned all of that, right? So that was
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And next you started explaining that VCRS cycle. No, so I,
That was
according
not
to me,
required.
don't go with that because interviewer
Sure, sir.
might, he may extend that.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So just answer what is asked. Okay. So that is what my
Yes,
side.
sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nishant, can you tell me different types of pumps?
Yes, sir. So pumps are classified are into two main categories. One is rotodynamic pumps and one is positive displacement type pumps. So in rotodynamic pumps, we have centrifugal pumps and axial flow pumps. In in positive displacement type pumps, we have reciprocating pumps and gear pumps. In reciprocating pumps, we have piston plunger, bucket diaphragm type pumps, and in gear pumps, we have and in rotor pumps, we have gear, vane, lobe, and screw pumps.
Okay. Yeah. Nishant, can you tell me how the suction pressure is created in the centrifugal pump?
Sure, sir. Sir, in the centrifugal pump, when we turn on the motor, the impeller starts rotating and it imparts kinetic energy to the fluid particles around it due to the centrifugal force. And the fluid particles get radially discharged towards the discharge side of the volute casing. So due to this, wide spaces get created near the eye of the impeller. So that means the volume of that region increases, and due to this increase in volume, the pressure of that region decreases, and negative pressure gets created at the eye of the impeller. And we know the property of a fluid that it always flows from a region of high pressure to the low pressure. So due to this negative pressure, the fluid starts getting sucked from the sump to the eye of the impeller. This is how the suction pressure is created, sir.
Okay. Nishant, do you know the working of three-phase induction motor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please explain me the working of three-phase induction motor.
Sure, sir. So, three-phase induction motor is basically an electromagnetic device that converts the AC electrical energy into mechanical energy. Sir, it is based upon Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, and three-phase induction motor basically consists of two parts. One is the rotor, that is the rotating or moving part, and one is the stator, which is the stationary part. Sir, the stator carries three-phase windings, and these three-phase windings are provided with the AC current. And when this AC current flows through this three-phase windings, then a rotating magnetic field is produced. And when this rotating magnetic field cuts through the conductors of the rotor, then an electromotive force gets induced in the rotor, and as a result, a current also gets induced. And when this current that is flowing in the rotor conductors uh, connects with the magnetic field around it, then a torque is produced which rotates the rotor. Hence, the AC electrical energy gets converted into the mechanical energy.
Okay. Nishant, you mentioned about stator, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what material the stator is made up of?
No, sir. I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Yeah. Nishant, the stator is made up of laminated silicone steel. There is a
Laminated
yeah,
silicon steel.
yeah. Silicone steel is laminated continuously and it is sandwiched and stator is made. It is not a whole single part. It is sandwiched part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's basically thin sheets of
Yeah. Yeah.
s-
Yes.
laminated silicon sheets.
Yeah. Laminated silicone sheets. So do you know?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Nishant, what do you mean by eddy currents?
Sure, sir. So whenever a conductor is placed in a varying magnetic field, then an electromotive force gets induced, and when the circuit is closed, a current gets induced, which is known as the eddy current. And these eddy currents always flows in closed loops, and in a plane and the direction of movement of this eddy current is always in a direction perpendicular to that of magnetic field. And because the tendency of eddy currents is always opposing, hence eddy currents always cause losses in energy.
Okay. So, do you know why laminated silicone steels are used? Why those are laminated?
No, sir.
Yeah.
I don't have
You
any idea
already
about the
mentioned the
material.
answer during the definition of your eddy current. Laminated silicone steels are used to prevent the eddy current losses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That hysteresis losses and eddy current losses.
Yeah. So
Yes,
to
yes.
avoid those losses, the silicone steel laminated silicone
Are
steels are.
laminated.
Yeah. Okay.
Understood, sir. Understood.
Yeah. Nishant, can you tell me Faraday's law?
Sure, sir. So Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction consists basically of two laws. So the first law is about the induction of the electromotive force. So the first Faraday's law states that when a conductor is placed inside a varying magnetic field, then an electromotive force gets induced, and when the circuit is closed, then a current is induced, which is known as induced current. And the second law of Faraday states that the induced electromotive force is equal to the rate of change of flux linkage. That is, EMF is equal to minus n d phi by dt, where n is the number of turns in the coil, and phi is the magnetic flux linked to the coil.
Okay. Yeah. Nishant, can you tell me Archimedes principle?
Sure, sir. Sir, Archimedes' principle states that whenever a body is submerged completely or partially in a fluid at rest, then it experiences an upward force or a buoyant force, the magnitude of which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. The applications of Archimedes' principle can be seen in the construction of ships and submarines.
Okay. Yeah. Can you state me the Boyle's law?
Yes, sir. So Boyle's law states that at constant temperature, pressure is directly proportional to the pressure is inversely proportional to the volume.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Fine. Nishant, can you tell me how does a starter motor works in a bike?
Sure, sir. So we know that there is a self-starting button provided in every bike. So when we press this when we press the self-start button in the bike, then current starts flowing from the battery to the starter solenoid. And the starter solenoid consists of various coils or various number of coils going into those coils of solenoid. And due to this, it attracts, and due to the flow of current in those coils, it attracts an iron rod which is placed near to it, which is connected to the starter motor. And when it gets attracted to it, the circuit gets completed from the battery to the starter motor. And now the starter motor receives the current and it starts rotating. And the starter motor consists of a shaft on which pinion gear is mounted, and the pinion gear is connected with the flywheel uh, via belt chain or gear drives, and is connected to the flywheel. So when the starter motor rotates, the pinion gear rotates, which makes the flywheel to rotate. And we know that when flywheel rotates due to its moment of inertia, the crankshaft also starts to rotate, leading to the which leads to the reciprocate which leads to the initiation of reciprocating motion of the piston. And this reciprocating motion of the piston gives us the four strokes of the engine, and we receive the power stroke by which the bike starts.
Okay. Nishant, you mentioned that the pinion and flywheel are connected through the belt drive and chain drive, right?
Yes, sir.
No, Nishant. Actually, pinion and the flywheel are directly connected, I think.
The pinion and the flywheel.
Yeah. Because pinion is a small gear and flywheel is a big gear. Though these both are directly connected, and as the pinion gear rotates, it rotates the flywheel.
Yes, sir. So there is no in between connection between them. They are directly connected with each other.
Yeah, they are directly connected. And once again, you can confirm this answer. Okay, I will also
Okay,
reconfirm
okay,
this.
okay,
But as far as I know, pinion gear and flywheel are directly connected.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll confirm this.
Yeah. Uh, Nishant, can you tell me the working of bursting disk?
Sure, sir. So bursting disk is basically a safety device that is provided in the air compressors. The bursting disk is a non-reclosing device that ruptures at a predefined pressure to release the excess pressure. Sir, the bursting disk gets permanently damaged and it cannot be used again when it ruptures. So basically, what happens is when the pressure inside the compressor goes too high above the predefined pressure, then it bursts at a controlled manner and creates an opening through which the excess pressure can be vented out. And the bursting pressure, sir, the bursting pressure is calculated during the designing and manufacturing process, and mostly the bursting pressure is kept around 1.5 times the working pressure.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Nishant, can you tell me the boiler safeties?
Sure, sir. So boiler safeties are the various fittings and devices that are necessary for the operation and safety of the boiler. Sir, some of the boiler safeties that I can recall are two safety valves, then two water level indicators, then feed check valve, um, then uh, then a pressure gauge, then a blow off cork, a steam stop valve, scum valve, then a fusible plug,
Okay.
then
Uh,
manholes.
yeah. Can you tell me what is fusible plug?
Sure, sir. So fusible plug is a mechanical device, is a safety device provided in boilers that is used to put off the fire in the furnace of the boiler. Sir, the fusible plug is made with a gunmetal uh, gunmetal alloy, which consists of copper, tin, and zinc. And the melting point of fusible plug is such that it melts at lower temperature. It melts earlier than the surrounding materials, and mostly the melting point of fusible plug is kept at around uh, at 230 degrees Celsius. Sir, when the water level at the boiler falls below the safe limit, then the fusible plug melts in order to prevent the boiler from the explosion.
Okay. Can you tell me where the fusible plug is located?
Sir, fusible plug is located at the crown of the furnace.
Yeah. So Nishant, whenever you are explaining the fusible plug, please mention its location and then explain
Yes,
its
sir.
features and then explain its construction and then explain its working. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Because that full explanation, it's very short explanation. So that's why it's important to mention all of those. And when you were explaining the fusible plug, you were a bit confused what to tell or what not to tell. So just look that you don't get lagged in your answer. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Rest all your technical knowledge is great, and I am sure that you will clear the Agno interview. There is no doubt.
Yes, sir.
So that's it for today, Nishant. And there are no further inputs for you. You are a well qualified guy, and your non technical is also great, and your technical knowledge is also good. So
Yes, sir.
there is nothing much from my side. So all the best, Nishant.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Make sure whenever you are answering confidently as you have answered now, and don't get stuck while you are answering. If you don't know the answer, as you said earlier, sir, I don't know, sir. So that is the best reply you can give.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sure, Nishant. So all the best for your interview. Do well,
Thank you
and
very much.
yeah, I'm sure you will clear this interview.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Nishant. Take care.
Thank you, sir.